add some stuff. Method, width, height, symmetry, inner seams, total. So we're going to need to basically duplicate this for overlays. So we're just going to have, we're going to double this, essentially. Method, overlay width, and overlay height. Overlay symmetry. We are guaranteeing right now that there will only be up to one overlay, so no more than one overlay. I think we're all content with that. So this is going to be okay. Bool overlay inner seams. Speaking of which, my inner seams code is actually not correct. I have to fix that. It's vector int overlay weights. Int overlay total weight. That is used for random textures. And int overlay num tiles. Alright. That should just about do it. So now, what we want to do is go down to the file system. rv.symmetry. So these RV values, based on if we are in base texture or overlay texture, we're going to have to set something different. So if we're in base texture, we set method. If we're in overlay texture, we set overlay method. Now I could put if statements inside all of these. That would be the slower way, but honestly it doesn't matter. I could use byte offsets, that would be the fast way, but the ugly way and the bug-prone way. And I could make two separate methods, one that does the, overlay method, or the overlay section, and one that does the base section. Those are the three I can think of right now. I'm going to go with the, I think I'm going to go with the if statement way. That's going to add a lot of if statements. It's going to look kind of ugly. How many if statements is this going to add? Like 6. It's going to clutter it up quite a bit. We could do the if statement outside the switch. Or we could do the, I think we'll do the if statement outside the switch. That makes more sense. Alright, so let's make int header type equals 0. So 0 will be base texture. So if any sections I is equal to, and this is strings I believe, yes. If that is equal to, the wrong thing, if that is equal to base texture, then header type equals 0. Else if any sections I is equal to overlay texture, then what we're going to do is say that header type equals 1. I could make an enum for this, or a constant thing. Let's do that. Int base texture, base equals 0, const int overlay equals 1. Cool. I don't like magic numbers. So header type equals base, header type equals base, header type equals overlay. Alright, so right here we're going to say if header type is equal to base. Then we do this. Else if header type is equal to overlay. Then we do this. Now, kids, don't ever copy paste. It always causes problems, but I never stop doing it. You always forget to change something. Alright, so for overlay, we just change all of the stuff that has RV in front of it. Change that to overlay method, for instance. Just like that. Overlay method. Overlay inner seams. I think I should be able to get all these. It's pretty easy. Overlay total height. Overlay weight. Overlay total weight. And that was 3. Overlay symmetry. Overlay symmetry, overlay symmetry. Overlay width. Overlay height. There we go. And that's that. That should work. So should we run it and see if it crashes? Yes, we should. Because if we don't, it's going to crash later when I've already written a bunch of other crap and I'm not going to know what went wrong. Now, if it works correctly, it should just look the same. If everything changes, then it didn't work correctly. That's not what I want. I want this. The account name is not capital. Ben will take over Bunny's Civ in Civ. Now confirmed. Actually, I'm at war. Who am I at war with? I'm at war with Ketoth right now, and I'm dominating him. I'm destroying him. No, me and Bunny could be friends. Oh no, he's already making war talk. Yeah, just so y'all know, we've been playing like a game of Civ, which we're gonna play tomorrow. I hope y'all are all good to play. God, I love Civ. It's so glitchy though. Man, the multiplayer crashes all the time. Question about textures. Is there something similar like dynamic buffering, but for textures? Right now, all of the textures are just loaded into memory all at once. In the future, if we have a whole bunch of textures, we may want to like page the textures. So we would only load in textures that we need and possibly reconstruct the atlas at runtime every now and then, which might be kind of slow, but it would result in us using less RAM. I'm not sure if that's what you were meaning. 8 core processor. Oh yeah, that's a lot of cores. Carmack does his mega texturing. Question about texture. Is there something? I believe there are texture buffers. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by dynamic buffering. You'd have to kind of explain that to me more. I'm not well versed in the rendering world, honestly. Alright, I'll look at that green console. Just been playing with Photoshop. Wow, I like that. That's really good. You know what might be cool? Experiment with making this emblem here glow a little bit, and maybe even making the planet glow. Like there should be like a glow effect in Photoshop, or like a I don't know if you would want Gaussian blur. That would probably make it look too fuzzy, but see if you can apply a glow and see what that looks like. Because my background, and see this right here has glow, and it makes it look really cool. It makes it look all futuristic. Also, our official color, by the way. Oh, look. Aha! Look, it even fixed, quote, fixed our, what is this, repeat texture thing. So guys, this is what it was supposed to look like. Oh look, it even got rid of that little white thing, that white tile thing. Cool, I thought that was going to be a separate bug that I had to fix, but no, it was good. That's strange. I'm happy with that. Yay! So as you can see, this actually, the repeat texture method makes it so this tile's over 8 tiles, for those of you who aren't with us in the beginning. Ooh, and does gravel do the same thing? Ah, yes it does. Gravel has another one. And dirt. Dirt does too. Guys, look how good this looks. It's not tiling every single tile. And shale, is this shale? Slate? Slate also does it. I'm so happy with this. I think this looks just so phenomenal. Holy crap, we have TNT down here. Yeah, the particles don't work on Andreas's texture pack. It's trying to use non-existent animations instead of defaulting to the default animations like it does for textures. And this is basalt, and then here's just regular connected textures, bricks and things, and thornmite. Neat. Neat. I'm so happy with this. A lot of work to be done. We're not done here yet. Okay. So that was a sanity check. It works. So we have our overlay data now. Oh, wait. I forgot to initialize stuff. So we're going to have uninitialized variable issues. Thank God I just thought of that. Let's go to block text info and fix that up. So see, I'm initializing all these, but I got to initialize their overlay counterparts. So we'll do that on another line. Like that. Okay, so we just pre-pinned everything with overlay method, and let's copy overlay so I can do this faster. Num tiles, total weight, symmetry, inner seams, height. Always initialize your variables. Width, not height. All right. Good. So we have that. And it's setting them, but the one thing it's not doing, which we have to do now, it's not path overlay is not working. And I think this should be just path, because it's kind of redundant. It's in the overlay header. You shouldn't have to say path overlay. And blend mode, it's another thing we have to think about. Subtract. Oh, there's different blend modes. That's gonna in the shader, but honestly I've noticed, at least on my graphics card, whenever I removed some branching, it didn't really get that much faster, maybe like 2 frames per second faster. Now if I removed all the branching, it might get a lot faster, but you know, well, we've got plenty of time to optimize. I don't need to be thinking about that right now. I always over optimize. Okay, so blend mode, path overlay. I need to take a bathroom break. I've had a lot of stuff to drink and eat. So let me find something interesting for y'all to watch while I'm gone. What's something interesting? Did y'all see, I'm sure a lot of y'all Voxel guys saw Miguel Sapero's recent thing. Let me just go to my subscriptions. This is the wrong one. YouTube subscriptions. What's something interesting? Yeah, watch this and be inspired by it.
Hello guys, my name is Miguel Sapero. I am one of the makers of Voxel Farm Menu. In this update we will see lakes and water. Coming up with the location for lakes turned out to be quite a challenge. This is difficult because you start with terrain, you really don't know what is the best location for a lake. Because a lake has to meet certain properties. You want the lake to be flat, you want to make sure that the height of the water around the shore is mostly the same. And this is a challenge if you're starting from any kind of terrain. So this system we have now, by looking at the terrain, it is able to figure out what is the best location for lakes. And it can do it in real time. So as you advance, you get more of this generated on the fly. We can also do rivers, but this is not seen in this update. Now, once we know where the water is, we can generate voxels out of that information. These voxels eventually are turned into polygons, which are used for rendering. So all the tricks you normally see rendering water, like adding waves, refraction, and reflection, this is something you would still apply pretty much the same way you would do it before. Still, the water is made out of voxels, and this provides a few advantages. Let's see now what happens when we carve terrain near the shore. As you can see, I'm making holes where the water is, and it appears as if the water was moving into the spaces I make. But this is not really happening, this is just a trick. What's going on is that there is a much larger layer of water going under the surface, and by just digging near the lake, you're exposing the water that is underneath. In the past few weeks, we also spent some time improving our physics. while we were testing this, we realized it was actually quite fun just to break things and see how they fall apart. It seems like destroying things was kind of also a creative act. There is something else we want to show in this update, and this is something you already saw in this video. I'm talking about our new rendering system. As we added new systems like the water and physics, we had to update our old renderer, and it appeared that we had to put a lot of effort into it anyway. So we chose to start a new rendering prototype, and this is what you're seeing here. This one handles water properly. We also get the very nice integration of the moving solids we have for physics with the rest of the terrain and all the voxel elements. It looks like everything is actually the same. The objects in the physics, they will cast shadows as they move. They will also receive the illumination from the rest of the environment. And now we can do things we couldn't do before. So before we had a maximum distance at which you would get shadows. If you had a tower or something like that that was really distant, you would not get a shadow for it. Now it's different. Now we have consistent shadows throughout the entire world. It is also a physically based rendering system. So this will make it easy to bring interesting materials and properties and other effects into what you see on a screen. And then over the last few weeks we did a lot of improvements to our clipboard system. This is something we show in some other videos we posted before, so I will not spend too much time on this, but the idea is now you can use any arbitrary shape to copy voxels from the world. And then once you're gonna paste them, you can rotate them, you can give them any orientation and scale you want. I think this opens a new set of possibilities when you're building. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this update. Stay tuned for the next.
And I'm back. Wasn't that a cool video? His engine is so cool. It's like magic. Very inspiring. Okay. Let me take my pills here. No. Hang on, technical difficulties. Gotta take a bunch of pills. Oh, I'm so high. Okay. Now, what are we doing? What are we doing? Making progress, that's what we're doing. That's so cool. Okay, yes, yes. Anything interesting happen? Yes, Miguel is the voxel Jesus. Stuff is going on. Yeah, he's been working on water for like 2 years. His water isn't volumetric, y'all probably noticed. Well, I guess he told you it wasn't volumetric. Not sure if we'll be able to do it, because the scale of Voxel Farm Sandbox, as far as like the voxel data, he's got a lot more complicated stuff to deal with than we do. Like, we can make fast voxel physics because everything's a flat array, everything's always in memory, and it's everything's uniform sized voxels. That's not the case in Voxel Farm Sandbox. It's a lot more complicated, so I doubt we're going to be seeing fast water there. Ooh, let me see Might Rage. This isn't real time. It doesn't look real time. This looks like a render. But yeah, like the shader toy stuff. So this is basically just GPU noise that generates a volume, and then it does like dual contouring or marching cubes or something on it, and then it, the texture stuff. It's all pretty. I mean, it's not basic, but this is definitely a render. Like this is super pretty though. Oh, that lava's cool. Yeah, I've seen stuff like this on shader toy, like volumetric fog and stuff too. It wouldn't really work very well in a real-time game because it runs at like 30 FPS and that's just the fog. So when you add in all the game rendering and stuff, it's not really going to be good. But in the near future, as GPUs evolve, like I really hope we'll start seeing a bunch of this stuff in game. But it seems like the Moore's law. I don't think it's working anymore. Like I don't think we're getting an exponential growth of computing as far as graphics goes. But I don't know, maybe we are. Maybe I'm wrong. It's definitely at least linear increase, but exponential, I don't know. Anyways, let's pull that up. Hey, potato chip. Great potato chip. I love that name. How many people are here? A good bit. Okay. Where were we? Yes, so we have filled. Yes, we were contemplating this new stuff. Blend mode and path overlay. So let's go ahead and add a blend mode. Int blend mode. And we're going to set it to 0, whatever that means. Haven't figured out what it's going to be yet. Okay, blend mode. Why are we getting... Okay. And now... So right now we load the texture. Like when we load the text file, it's because we've already loaded the texture. We load the texture and then we search for a text file with the same name. If we find the text file, we load that information in. If we don't find the text file, we just use default values. And so now what we're doing is having to add another step. So this right here, this is the problem. We're going to have to add another loading step. I guess inside load text that loads a texture in, and I think we're going to want to store that texture in block text info. No, we're going to want to add it to the atlas. Definitely going to want to add it to the atlas. Let's look at how we do it. Oh yeah, we have to add it to the atlas, but let's see where we load texture pack. So, oh wait, no, load, I'm looking for load blocks. So the block has a block any texture. Yes, this is it. So it sets the text name and then it calls this texture atlas manager add block texture. So that's going to add a block to, go away, freaking bugs, to the texture atlas. Now we also need, it looks like we're missing the texture names for the overlays for the faces. And the reason we have that is so you can modify it in the world editor and change it in game. Graphene, graphene could change the world. I hope it does, but it's not here yet. I mean, it's here, but commercial use of graphene is not here yet. I mean, doesn't a sheet of graphene have a resistance of like 0 or something crazy like that? Like, I don't even understand how that could be. All right, some more strings. String. Left ov text name. Right ov text name. Front ov. front of text name, back of text name, top of text name, bottom of text. Oh shit. Okay. I'm realizing this isn't going to work because of the way I've architectured this. Because right now, when you're loading a text file, it doesn't know what face it belongs to. So for now, we're not doing the block editor just yet, so let's ignore texture name for overlays right now. We don't really even do anything with, actually we do stuff with that, I think, but we don't need it for the overlays. Okay. So yeah, looks like we're just gonna need to call add block texture. And how are we gonna do this? Let me think. Trying to think of the best way to architecture this here. Might need to rewrite a little bit of stuff. So load block atlas. Current document. So we load the texture file name and we associate it with, okay, we associate it with the face, I believe. Or we associate it with the texture. Yes, so it is bound to the texture in a way. And then, okay, I'm seeing this. Okay, and then let's go to, all right. Get block texture, let's find references to this. Yes, initialize texture. So this text info here has got all the information about the overlay. I see. So yeah, if we just put the text index in here for the overlay, we should be good. I think that's all we need. So the best way, should we put it, we should put it in block text info for sure. Yes, definitely. All right. Overlay text index. I believe this is what we want. Overlay text index 0. So right now it's going to display like missing texture. What we need to do is reserve the 1 slot. We'll reserve the 1 slot for the empty overlay, and it's just going to be a transparent block. A transparent texture. That'll be perfect. Ooh, Matthew's coming in. Matthew's our expert on anything and everything physics and engineering. Graphene doesn't have 0 resistance. Small value. Thermal properties. Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, what if we like had such a power efficient and heat efficient processor that you could, you know, you wouldn't need liquid coolers for these crazy GPUs. You could just use a little fan and it'd be fine. I think that'd be awesome. Graphene in conjunction with silicone, and then we could replace silicone. Complete your case. Nanotubes. Okay, y'all talking about some crazy stuff. That's awesome. What was I doing? Overlay text index is 0, so we just need to load the texture in and set the texture index whenever we do that. And to do that, ooh. See, we're doing this as a step while we're stitching the texture atlas versus before. Oh, okay, my brain's melting here. Let's go back to Texture Atlas Manager. So load block atlas. So we load the text file here. So what we're going to want to do is see, if we just append another texture to our see, this loops through block texture map. If we just append another texture to the block texture map, which is an ordered map, by the way, that's not going to work. So we would at least need to make this unordered. But then it's going to, yeah, this isn't an array. So we're going to have to do this differently. We're going to have to stitch this in immediately to the atlas. So what we'll do, okay, so that's not that bad. What we'll do is we'll basically call this once for, so here's where we read a texture in, and then we stitch it here. So we're going to need to do this immediately if we have an overlay texture. And only if we have an overlay texture, because we don't want to stitch it in if it already exists. That's a thing. What if it already exists? I think we're going to need a separate map, a separate map for overlay textures that's simply there to ensure that we don't add one twice. So it's going to be a cache. So we're going to cache the overlay texture separately from the non-overlay textures. And I think that's going to work. So let's start by making that cache. And right now our only cache is block texture map. So let's go ahead and go to the definition of block texture map. String block texture overlay texture map. Okay, overlay texture map. Now, let's go ahead and clear it. Dot clear. And down here, so get block texture. Would there ever be a situation where an overlay texture would also be used as a block texture? I'm going to guess no. For now, I'm going to assume no, and I'll change the system later if I need to. That just doesn't make sense to me that would ever need to be used. So we have our cache. Now what we need to do is look in the cache for our texture name, and if it exists, then we use that. Otherwise, we load a new one and add it to the cache. So what am I scrolling through here? Load block atlas, that's what I want. And it calls add texture to atlas. Here we are. So load text file. And then load PNG here. So here's where we're going to load overlay, just as a note to myself. Now in load text file, let's open that back up. Let's go ahead and process this path overlay and blend mode. That's not correct. Here's load text file. Here it is. any path overlay, any blend mode. All right. And this only happens for overlay. rv.path overlay path. I like overlay path better than path overlay better. Overlay path equals any val get stir. rv.blend mode equals any val. Wait, it's a string, isn't it? Okay. S equals any val that gets stir. If rv.blend mode is equal to subtract, then we'll say it equals 1, 2. Else if rv.blend mode equals, whoops, s, not rv.blend mode. Else if s is equal to add, say 1. Oh my god, what am I doing? 1 and 2. And for now that should be good. I'm not sure what else we have other than add and subtract. We'll just do else rv.blend mode equals 0. Like that. Subtract, add, all that. We need to add overlay path. Ugh. String overlay path. And we'll initialize that to the empty path. Empty string. So if it's the empty string, we're going to use the default overlay, which will be just a blank texture at texture atlas spot, or texture index spot 1. Much like the spot 0 is reserved for the missing texture. Do we include? Yes. Okay. All right. So overlay path gets set. So now, here, we're going to say auto it equals, what did I call it? Overlay texture map dot find, and we're going to find block texture dot. Are we checking if it's a PNG? Isn't it always going to be a PNG? If it isn't, shouldn't we give an error? Okay, we want to do this inside the text file stuff. I think this code is a little bit stupid, so I might look at this later. Okay, load overlay, and it's going to be block texture dot text info dot overlay path. So we're going to find that. If it doesn't exist, so if it is equal to overlay texture map dot end, then this is cache. It isn't in the cache. So if it's not in the cache, we load it and we add it to the cache. And otherwise, we just use the one that's in the cache and we just set else. We just set the texture thingy. So else, we're going to say, did I, hang on. block text info. Overlay text index is 0. Yes. So we're just going to set this overlay text index based on what we get from overlay texture map. So block texture dot text info. Okay, dot relay text index equals it arrow second dot text info dot overlay text index. I feel like all we need to do is cache the index. Oh, no, we have to... damn. See, this is why I think they should be separate block text infos. Because right now I'm caching all of the information about that particular texture. But that varies between... I guess we can just do this. It's the easy way. Just everything overlay. We just do this. Just set all the overlay stuff. Method, overlay method, overlay total weight, overlay total weight, overlay weights, overlay weights, overlay inner seams, overlay inner seams. Is there any more? I think there's just 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's path, but it should already be the same. Because, yeah, if the path is the same, it's the same. Text index, got that. Total weight, got that. Weights, got that. Width, got that. Height, got that. Num tiles, got that. Method, yes. Symmetry. Alright, cool. That will pull all the data from the cache. Otherwise, what we need to do is overlay texture, load overlay texture, and add overlay texture to cache info to cache. So we're just going to call overlay texture map this overlay path equals block texture.textInfo. Oh, it's just text info. Or block texture, I mean. Alright, so that'll handle caching. Now we need to load the overlay texture. So here's where we're going to use the relative path, and that's annoying. So this text file name right here, it's going to be something like this. I'll show you. Block data. Any. So the texture file name is something like this: block/terrain./dirt.png. So what we got to do is basically, to get the relative path, we read everything up to this last slash and then discard everything after that. So what we can just do is iterate backwards from the end of the string until we get to a forward slash or a backslash, one of the two. And once we get there, we will just throw away the rest. And if we don't reach one, then it just becomes an empty string. And I believe that should give us the relative path correctly. So let's go ahead and make a new string down here. And we're going to say, isn't in the cache, string relative path. So relative path, we're going to set it, first we're going to set it equal to file name plus text file name. And then we're going to say for int I equals relative path dot size -1. I is greater than or equal to 0. I minus minus. That'll iterate backwards. And let's cast this to an int so we don't get a freaking compiler error. Still talking about Large Hadron Collider and arguing about graphene and stuff. Guys, it's not that important. Alright, yeah, going backwards. So, if relative path I is equal to / or relative path I is equal to the escapes character. How is this going to work? Is it going to try to escape something? Yes, that's right. You got to do double escape character. Aha! Got you. So if this is true, then we break relative path. Otherwise, we just say relative path dot pop back. Look at that. That will give us the relative path. And then all we do is we call, okay, we need load PNG with a read texture. I believe it fills this. So yeah, we'll just use read texture. And what are these things at the end? Oh, smooth type and make texture. Excuse me. What is read texture? Say text info. With height, cool. I need to rename these things so that they're easier to comprehend. Where are we? Ben, I have to go and play some games because games. Thanks, Mindrage. Enjoy yourself. Thanks for tuning in to yet another stream, man. Really appreciate it. I'm drawing a mental blank. I think, you know what? I think it's the energy drink that's making me like get tired really fast. Should stop drinking energy drinks before the streams. So we're gonna call load PNG. So just like this, what did I just do? Pop back. We're gonna load PNG. Load the texture from file. Get the relative path. And it's gonna be load PNG, and it's gonna be relative path plus this overlay path, just like that. Wow. Overlay path. So we load it in, and then we need to check for an error. So if read texture dot ID is not equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, I guess we'll just do nothing for now. So if it's not equal to 0, we set, where do we use read texture here? We are going to use the method, so we need to do a switch here. So pretty much the same thing that's here. And then we'll free the texture. Gotcha. Gotcha, past bin. I know what you're doing. Right here. So instead of method, we're using overlay method. And this function needs to be refactored a little bit more. I think it's getting a little too big. We have overlay method, and that's it. We just write it to the atlas, and that will give us block texture. Oof. It's going to try to set. It's gonna call write to atlas, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna try to set our text index. We want it to set. Okay, I know what we can do. Do we use anything except text index in these things? Wow, I only use it like. Oh yeah, text index. Oh, I have to. Here we go. Block texture. Text index. Oh, we get the width and height here. Text index. Text index. Alright, I'm going to modify this a bit. So instead of passing in the block texture, we're going to pass a reference to the text index and just change that. Much better, so we can pass in a different texture index. It's spamming the chat. Yes, you guys always argue about stuff in the chat. Matthew, it's your fault this time. It's okay, I still love you, Matthew. And now you distracted me. That's right, we were changing block texture, ampersand block texture to just int ampersand text index. Like that. Int ampersand text index. Imp ampersand text index, like that. So we'll do that for all of them. Text index, text index. Now write to atlas repeat needs width and height. Int width, int height as well. And we can get rid of that. Write to atlas repeat is here. Much better, much better. Add random texture. It's fine. Write texture atlas, or write to atlas. Text index. Is that correct? Yes. There we go. So now we just switch all these to say text index equals. And since it's a reference, it will change the original copy. If you've been watching my C++ tutorials, you know that. You know about passing by reference. So here in write to atlas, instead of sending block texture, we're just going to send block texture.textInfo as a reference, or text index, like that. Text index, text index, text index. Oh, I copied the E. Text index. There we go. So now all we got to do is up here we say dot text info dot overlay text index, like that. And yeah, we're gonna have to change it up for random texture as well. Random texture should take text index. Random texture, text index, and it also needs num tiles. Let's just pass it in addition to the block texture. Ooh, no. No, we have to pass it in separately, definitely. Because it accumulates total weight here. So it accumulates num tiles and total weight. So what we're going to do is pass in, this is const, comma, text index. So const text index. What else do we need? Num tiles. Wow, it's still letting me change that? Oh, because I'm changing something inside block texture. So it's not, the const doesn't matter. What was there's a keyword to make it so that it does matter, I think, but I don't, it's like a C++11 thing. Whatever, we're just going to do this right. Int num tiles, int total weight. And I'm doing this with bad style. I'm trying to switch to do it this way. Dang it. I'll just do a like Control F and replace all these one day. So just copy this whole thing to Texture Atlas Manager. Add a random texture. Okay, and damn it, it's named the same. Num tiles capitalized. Total weight. Alright, that was stupid. Total weight. And we want to write to Atlas with text index. Like that. Now that looks correct. Okay. So now here we have to change our parameters. We say text index, then we say block, whoops. Block texture dot text index, and then block texture dot text info dot num tiles, and block texture dot text info dot total weight. There we are. Now we do something similar up here. Text info dot text info dot overlay texture. Now random texture needs a few things. Block texture. Ah, damn. Just realized I should be replacing this with what is weights. Const vector int. All right. Const. This will be the last time I change this freaking random texture method. Vector int, and it's going to be weights, like that. Here we are. And this is just weights. Where do we accumulate total weight? It must be somewhere else. Interesting. Oh well. Okay. Dot text info dot weights. Overlay weights. Overlay total weight. It's getting hot in here. Okay, so that's that. Am I done? No. Christian, you talking about the pointers? Yeah, I keep forgetting. I'll just go through and fix it later. Yeah, we've changed our coding style, so I'm still getting used to it. Hey, Christian, yeah, we have HDR, motion blur. Somebody's gonna start working on some new effects soon. Like, we really need glow, so our lights glow. That'd be really cool. And the sun, so the sunset glows over the terrain. I think that'd be really cool too. What else would glow? The galaxy in the sky. Maybe that would glow a little bit if it's really bright. Not about pointers. Then what, Christian? Which thing specifically? Oh, types. Types, STD. Well, I actually haven't refactored this at all yet, and I don't want to do that on camera. If I went through and removed using namespace STD, that would waste a lot of time. I'll just do this later, Christian. All right. What do we have here? Dots. It's going to be hard for me to replace every occurrence of int with I32. Ugh. It's going to be hard to get into that habit. I'm probably never going to. All right, text info. No, wait. Text index, right? What is it? Weights. Overlay weights. Oh, just weights. And this one is width and height. Block texture dot text info dot height. Yep, green console. Oh, y'all know. That joke's been tossed around a few times now. We're not changing it. Okay. Then we add it to the atlas. We set the text index. We free the texture. Add it to the cache. I think that's it. I think we're good here. I think we are done as far as stitching it into the atlas. So now we should do a sanity check. Ooh, default pack stuff. I have to come back to that. I'm gonna need to just rewrite this the function to be a little cleaner, so I don't have to hack it into this. But we got to make sure that it. So we have this is default thing. We want to make sure that if it's actually no, we don't want to do that for these because it has to be bound to that texture. So we're good. Ignore my rambling, you guys. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's run this. Could you render the background and text separately, then loop the text? You talking about bunny stuff? Oh. Oh, I did not see that, bunny. Wait, one sec. Build errors. Give me a second, bunny, and I'll look at your stuff. Oh. Oh, it's just, okay. Can't do that? Can we do that? Oh, there's gotta be a way. Just gotta do it that way. Yeah, 0.2 is gonna be a really big change, Tetrits. So Christian's working on world space objects. I'm working on the texture system, obviously. We've during the refactoring, at least I've fixed a lot of bugs. I know we've got like debug rendering stuff now. It might perform a lot better. There's going to be new liquids. There's going to be like lava and stuff. Faster explosions. Probably better thread management. It's just going to be. Oh, and we're rewriting the menu system to be in Osmium, and we might have our 3D UI, Like, it's going to be a big update. It really is going to be a massive update. We're going to, as soon as it gets released, we're going to start, yeah, Tetra, just spoil whatever you want. As soon as it gets released, we're going to really hype it up. We're going to try to, we're going to pass it around to press people, I guess, and see if they like it. And if they don't, we'll make it better. Alright, look, it worked. Well, when I say it worked, I mean it didn't crash, so we're off to a good start. We're not actually guaranteed that it's loading in the textures and putting them in the atlas correctly, but I'm going to make the assumption that it does. Like, look at the difference here between a texture that doesn't use repeat textures and a texture that does. Like, look how much better it looks with repeat textures. It's just so much better. It doesn't tile it, like, at all. Like, it's hard to see the tiling, especially with this texture. This is just 8 by 8. They can go up to 16 by 16, which takes up an entire texture atlas page, which we only right now have a maximum of 256 for the texture atlas pages. So now that I think about it, we may need to up that pretty soon. We can up it. It can be higher. It's just, we're going to be using a lot of texture memory if we have a lot of repeat textures. This is a problem we're going to have to start thinking about, because these textures are not small, especially in George's pack. Oh man, every texture atlas page, like 256 times 16. So, you know, something to think about. Or sorry, 16. Yeah. See, look, the physics blocks are broken. That's just because I haven't updated the shader to use the new stuff. Because remember, it uses the fragment shader for blocks, but it has its own vertex shader that's not working right at all. I'm surprised it even runs. Okay, now, when did I start this at? Like 1 o'clock? It's been 3 hours. We can go for another hour or so. I really want to get this showed. Custom sounds? Yeah, definitely. Like, all of our resources are external. They're not inside the executable. So you can change anything that is a resource. Anything. 32 per block length. To 512. What are you? Not sure what you're talking about. Christian's got it. Christian's got it under control. Okay. Now, let me go through my mental checklist. We've loaded in the ini file. We've stitched the textures to the atlas, which I am assuming is correct. Probably a false assumption. Now, we need to go to the chunk mesher, and we need to apply all of our vertex attributes for the overlays. And then, after that, we need to go to the shader and do texture lookups. And then, as soon as we do that, it's probably about a 99.9% chance it's going to be completely wrong, and then we're going to have to come fix it, which is cool. That's fine. Let's go ahead and do that thing I was talking about where we have the blank texture atlas thing. And to do that, we just need to load, oh, it's clearing it all to transparent, so we can just skip it. So we just skip. Pull this free slot ++ again. So skip. Oh, we want to do this anyways, even if we don't read it in. So this is to skip. I'm doing, even though I could say +=2, I'll just say +=2, whatever. This looks stupid. +=2, +=2. So this is skip, skip missing texture and default overlay. Skip both of those. So that means if we want to do the default, if overlay path dot size, because if it's empty, let's just say if empty, we do this, else we do all of this. So if it's empty, we're just going to say block texture dot text info dot overlay text index equals 1, just like that. And what we should also do is initialize this to a 1 instead of 0. 1. There we go. So now it'll use our transparent thing. So now we have to go to chunk mesher, the abomination. Still hasn't been commented, so nobody else except for me has strayed here. So we have this, not add quad, but make face. So make face is what sets up the texture stuff down here. So we need to do this for both the base texture and the overlay texture. Both of these steps. Because the overlay could use any method that the base texture can use. It's just a completely separate texture. That's all it is. Ugh. So let's go ahead and look at what attributes we pass, or what parameters we pass in. So I hate how huge this parameter list is. I think it might be a good time to refactor this instead of adding. We just have to add. See, guys, we just have to add 2 more parameters. So I guess I could. Yes, Christian has strayed in this code. It was disturbing. Without comments, like if you just look at this, like this doesn't make sense. Why am I multiplying the position by 7? Why am I doing that? Like, it wouldn't make sense to you if you're just trying to read through it. I need to put some detailed comments in here. Like, why am I dividing and modulating by 22 and 56? Like, there's a lot of optimization in here that makes it kind of hard to understand. Add block to mesh. So here's where it gets nasty. So what we need to do is go to compare vertices, and all we got to do is compare texture atlas and texture index, as well as overlay texture atlas and overlay texture index. So we just add some more ands onto this. What is the escape character for new line for macros? I believe it's that. Let's take these and put it over on a new line. I think it's that. About to find out. Let's try it. See if that gives me an error. Cool. That's what I was hoping for. Copy paste, the bane of existence. So change this to overlay texture atlas. Overlay texture atlas. And then overlay texture index, overlay texture index. So that's seriously all we have to do to prevent it from merging incorrectly, I believe. That should be good. Yes. Okay. Will volcanoes erupt? No, no, number one, they probably won't erupt. At least not like a huge eruption. Just try to think about the number of block updates you would have to do for that. What we could do is we could make a particle eruption, not a voxel eruption, where we just do like a huge particle effect. Perhaps the particles spawn lava when they land or something like that. And we could do that over a larger area. And then at the top of the volcano, we could just have small lava rivers that come out of it. And I think that would be manageable. But that's a big undertaking, and that seems like something a modder might add instead. And then if it's a good mod, we could include it into the game. That's one thing that we were talking about doing is, as modders add content, if the content fits kind of in line with our vision for the game, and if it improves the experience, we might ask the modder if we can use it in the base game, and then of course give them a spot in the credits. It's kind of like distributes the workload along all the modders for actually creating the content of the game. It's really nice. So that fixed our compare vertices. I don't know why I have that. Now we need to set the correct stuff in make face. And to do that, sorry, this is an old made face function. Do I even use this? don't think I use this anymore. Let's find out. View call hierarchy. Calls to make face. I have like a few overloaded make face functions, and I don't think, cool, I don't use it, so you can go away. Oh, you know what? I did delete this already, but it got added back whenever I pulled. That happens. Yeah, cubicle. Cubicle's cool. We actually, all of our models are created in Cubicle right now, but they're all concept models. They haven't actually been added to the game yet because we don't have a model loader. We will soon, I'm sure. Probably Christian or Frank will do that when they're bored one day. They've been kind of tackling like little odd jobs that we need, little features like the debug rendering system and the input manager and all that stuff. So that'd probably be a good thing for them to do. And Christian's been doing a lot of refactoring. Like I've gone to new files and seen like a whole bunch of new stuff. It's kind of nice. Saves time for me, for sure, because I don't have a lot of time. Okay, I'm rambling. Right. Face index, vertex offset. Yes, so this is the repeat stuff that I just added. It uses texture lookups, so it's super fast. All we have to do is literally, or not texture lookups, sorry, array lookups to determine what the UV should be and what the direction that the UV should tile. And we just add a UV offset onto our base UV coordinates. So what I'm going to do is just copy paste this for overlay, this whole thing here. So we don't need to redo the variables, so overlay texture. So we don't need to redeclare them. Don't want to redeclare them. Now face index, actually UV offset and face index don't have to change. They are the same. Now instead of text, it's going to be overlay text. The chances of this working the first time are incredibly, incredibly low. Overlay texture index. Overlay texture atlas. Okay, now let me go, before I add two more parameters for text and text unit. Text unit should be text atlas, first of all. Let's go and rename it. I should have used rename refactor extension for that. Now I gotta copy paste it. That's okay. I'm fast at copy paste. I'm copy paste world champion. So let's go to the call sites for makeface. Yes, yes, yes. So, that's right. This should be encapsulated. It's kind of tough to encapsulate this though, because it uses different variable names for this stuff. We'd have to pass all this in, which we can do. PZ text info, we'd have to pass the text info, the text. What else would we have to pass? The block. Find place champion. Christian 50 files. Christian, I know all the file names, so if it's all without filters, I can sort alphabetically in my mind, so I can find files a lot faster that way. That's just me. That's just how I work. So if I want to find thread pool, I just go to the T's. You know, it's really fast. Instead of having to be like, okay, what is the thread pool filter? What's the filter inside that filter that I need to go to? Like, I don't want to have to open up all these filters, you know. So where am I? I just went to the cellular automata engine. Where am I trying to do? Here we go, chunk measure. Oh yeah, I was looking at this and pondering over what I should do here. So we have front index. Ooh, and text text info gets passed. Does text info get passed? Oh, cool. It's in block text info. So we don't have to pass anything new. Yay! Cool. Alright, so I don't have to worry about refactoring this right now. I can do that later. Where do I use that? Oh, I do texture width and texture height. Oh, that reminds me. I have to do it for, of course. Alright, cool. So instead of texture width and texture height, this is overlay texture width. So let's just do find and replace. Texture with overlay texture. Get that. Got them all at once. Okay, and then we'll replace. Watch this. I bet I can get these all at once too. If I don't click somewhere else. So we're going to replace info dot with. Oh no, we can't replace them all at once because width and height have to be capitalized. Damn. So we'll replace width with overlay width and height with overlay height. Nice. Now we have to, down here, let's make GLU byte overlay text atlas equals GLU byte. Oh, dang it. It's I8, no, UI8. There you go, Christian. I know you're. You know what? I'm going to just say GLU byte. Everything in the mesh is GLU byte right now. I'll fix it all later. I'll just do a control F for GLU byte. Do I ever use the object browser? Oh, I've used it before, yeah, if I need to find one. But usually I know where the objects are, so I don't have to use the object browser, because I just know what file they're in. I have an idea. Pre-build meshes and just copy paste. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. You might not even be talking to me. GLU byte. So it's going to be text info dot overlay text index divided by 256. And then GLU byte overlay text equals this modulo 256. Modulo 256. Cool. So now what we gotta do is use these down here. So overlay text atlas and overlay text. Holy crap, we're getting close, guys. We may actually get this. Usually at the end of every stream, though, there's like a huge bug. Like consistently for the past 3 streams, there's been like a huge issue at the end of the stream, and I've had to just end and just be like, ah, oh, sorry guys, I can't do this right now. And then I've always fixed it like right after the stream when I got home. Hopefully that won't happen today, but it probably will. All right, that's it. I think that's it. I think we're good. I think we are golden. Oh, damn. I completely forgot that it's going to have a separate color. Damn. Of course I forgot that. Well, that adds 4 bytes to our struct, so now we have 32 bytes instead of 28 bytes. So now it's a nice even 32 bytes. We're going to have to add a separate color for the overlay because we want to be able to color the overlay differently, obviously. And we want to be able to have grayscale overlays. Oh, and the blend mode. We have to pass that in. But we have an extra padding byte, I believe. We can fit that in. Hold on. I don't think I'm going to do this right now, guys. I think I'll just do a rough, since we're nearing the end of the stream here. I'll just do it without overlay color. So we're just going to assume the overlay is like a subtract overlay or something. We'll do without overlay color, and we'll do with without blend mode. We're just going to assume the blend mode is subtract. So it's only going to work on basalt and like the fiery basalt, the semi-solid basalt. That's the only one that's going to work. The grass one's not going to work yet because we still got to do the grass method. It's in a whole other texture method. And we don't have time to do that right now. We just have time to show the overlays sort of work, you know, that they're functional. Just for peace of mind, I want to look at the struct real quick and see if we have, here we go, U-byte padding right here. We can replace this padding with a blend method, or a blend mode, and we can add 4 bytes for overlay color, and then that'll bring us to 32 bytes. Perfect. Will we ever have to add more data? Possibly. It's okay if we go beyond 32 bytes, but 32 bytes is like really good. It's a perfect for text size. 16 bytes is probably better, but 32 is awesome. Oh man. Shader time. Time to modify the shader. So, let's go to the fragment shader first. Flat in vec2 overlay text dimensions. Let's see. Flat in float. Shouldn't be texture unit. I'll rename it. Overlay texture atlas. Okay, texture dimensions, texture atlas. And we have UV and OUV. So we have to do that for both of them. And ooh, man, this is getting thick. Look at this shader. This is why I was thinking about switching to use a completely different shader for overlay textures and render them completely separately. But then you're going to have Z fighting, won't you? I think you can make it so that it overwrites it anyways. But that seems like you're going to get Z fighting. I'll have to talk with the programmers about that and see what they think. In vec2, actually let's just do it right here. In vec2 overlay UV. Flat in vec2 overlay OUV. Look at all these inputs and outputs. Man, I hope this doesn't slow the thing down. I'm not sure how many inputs and outputs you can have before it becomes a problem. Probably not that many. Out overlay UV. Out overlay OUV. And then overlay texture atlas. There's texture. Here it is. Flat out float. Yeah, that's just a good way to sort by objects. If you forget what file your object is in, that's a nice way to do it. I usually just Control F for it and go to definition. Probably a little slower, so your way is probably better. That reminds me, I wanted to look at the thing Bunny did. No, where is it? Is it gone? I missed it. Damn it. It doesn't have a history that goes beyond... Oh God, Twitch, come on. You think they could make a system that had a longer history. Okay. Save. Okay, and I need to copy all of this. Oh yeah, the freaking physics block. We'll worry about the physics block shader in a second. Okay, I'm on top of my cord here. So now we just need to basically do everything identical for UV and overlay UV. So we'll do overlay UV is equal to this. No way. They're both vec4.